couple of minutes to get started here. So in about 2 minutes, I'll get moving. Okay, so we're all set up here for the morning. Um, we have already this week hit the objective that I was looking for. So I'll go ahead and show you guys that now before getting into things. Let's see. So we're on the daily chart here now. Um, you can see that pretty much from, I want to say it was February 16th? Not February, December 26th. We've kind of been just kind of hanging out in this area. And I was seeking to get through this 22,111 level. Um, and we broke that yesterday. So my objectives have been met for now. I do think we continue to roll through this at some point, the all-time high, and make another one. We can see that this was a very large drop. So there isn't much in terms of buy side liquidity in here. And when I say buy side liquidity, I mean like these little wicks here, because that's where buy stops are. So I think the best thing that we can look for on a higher time frame is this 21 310 25 level. But ultimately I'm seeking this 22 450 level here. So that's what we're looking at on the higher time frame. Let's go up to the 1 week. On the weekly, we were kind of pinned in this area as well. So when I said December 16th, that's because we started that right here. So after this week, we kind of just been pinned here, and yesterday we finally broke through this 22 111 level. And this is pretty bullish. So I'm thinking we will see a retracement of 20 to 30%, which is also called TGIF. So I'm going to move over to my actual charts and show you guys what I have there for that. So just going to move this up to the 1 day. I know it's a little messy here. Or actually, let's do the 1 week. It is a little messy, but here's the week's range. So the low of 21, 4, 15, 50. And we've got the high of 22 162. I think that came this morning during the early New York session, or that might have been the Asia session. So that retracement 20% would take us to 22,012.75, and 30% would be 21,938. I personally don't think we'll see that today. I do think we're going to see some really gross price action, but I do think it will continue higher. I do think we'll retrace to this on Monday. And of course, that goes with saying I may be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking right now. So I'm gonna drop down to the 1 minute basis just to check things out. So here's the 1 minute on this side. Um, it's really nasty. It's not very clean. I actually took two entries this morning. Took two losses. So that kind of tells me that price action is not the cleanest. Um, and Yeah, I think I'm down just below $100. So that's what's going on between those two losses, and we'll drop down to the 15-second to see that not it's not very clean at all here on the 15-second. So all that said, I had a pretty good week, so I'm not going to push anything. I never really push anything. The unfortunate thing is, as you guys in the chat know, Fridays have been pretty shitty. I've had pretty good price action the past few weeks, or I've seen pretty good price action, but Fridays have seemed to be pretty crappy, and unironically, that's when I'm live streaming. So may not be the best price action, may not take an entry, but I'm probably gonna walk out of here around 11 o'clock. I got some other things that I'd like to do. And after having a solid week, obviously don't want to mess that up trading subpar price action. So all that said, that's kind of what I'm looking for on a higher time frame. Um, I'll zoom out a little bit just to show you guys some of what I'm looking for on a lower time frame. So we've got some sell side liquidity down here, this 22 112 level, and we've got relative equal lows right there. We've got these here as well, relative equal lows, and some sell side liquidity. Nice sell side liquidity pool here. I mean, there's so much sell side liquidity here that I'm almost inclined to think we may retrace into that. And that's only about 40 handles, so that's not like egregious. That's I think that's realistic, although we are in a pretty strong bullish trend. We've got this low here, and these are pretty close to being relative equal lows. I think the difference is about 3 handles. They're just so far apart because this price action is like very, very back and forth. And I think ultimately for me, I'd be seeking this if we were to want to trade lower. I wouldn't look for anything lower than that personally, but that's because I'm just here until like 11. Um, on the buy side, we've got this here. So it's 22 145, call it 22 146. We've got these relative equal highs here at 22 152. The week's high right here at 22 162, and these are relative equal highs. And that's I guess that's kind of all I'm gonna note for now, unless we break out of this like area that we're in currently. So we're just gonna move back over here and get ready for price action in case we do see anything. Um, I don't really want to take anything before 10 o'clock. I sometimes will take entries before 10 o'clock, but with this price action, it's not really allowing precision. Like the elements of precision are gone, and you can kind of see that with this back and forth price action. Like, although we're going this way, it's very heavily back and forth. So I think I'm gonna wait until 10 to even consider anything. And one last thing to note before we actually get into watching the price delivery is that we have this SMT divergence here. So uh, the S&P and the Nasdaq here are just in positive, like barely in positive, but the Dow's negative right now. Um, we want to see all three in sync usually if we want some efficient price action and price action that's decidedly going in one direction. Um, so it may we may just continue to get this crappy price action, and that also will happen on weeks where we've had a pretty strong move in one direction, this week being bullish. So that's pretty much everything we need to say to get started, and we'll just get ready to watch price action here. What's up, buddy? Yeah, so we can see this is not the cleanest delivery. So we are going higher, seemingly, but we had this wick all the way down here before continuing higher. Let's see the length of this. So the highs 133, the lows 115. So that's like an 18 handle candle right there. The body's a little smaller. The body's only about 10 candles or 10 handles, but that's a really large candle. Do think we continue higher, but we want to watch the midpoint of this order block here. If we respect the midpoint of this, we should see lower prices. But this does seem pretty decidedly bullish, so 33.75. Yeah, so this is very inefficient price delivery. The fact that we closed below this order block and then closed below this order block here, we wouldn't want to see price come back up. We want to see price move with some magnitude and speed lower. So, buddy, cut it out. Stop. So as of now, we're still respecting the midpoint of this, but I just don't love this price delivery, so I'm not going to take anything based off of that alone. It's just not efficient at all. Rather, um, preserve capital than to take a risk in this sort of price delivery. And this is the 1 minute over here. It's pretty bunched up. Still got this SMT divergence. We haven't really moved out of this area. We've been in the like 0.07% area this whole time. Um, the YM has remained flat. We want to see these get in sync to at least believe that it's going to become more efficient. So it looks like the Dow is starting to move a little bit higher. 0.05%. So not a ton higher. But it's in the positive right now, which means all three indices are in the positive. So they're more in sync than they were before. We do want to keep an eye on that and see if it remains that way. This isn't the most efficient still, but um if we wanted to see this start to move higher, we would have wanted to see these candles here close no lower than the midpoint of these here. And we just closed below, so super inefficient. Nice. So, in the 2 minutes that I was away, we used that order block. That is frustrating. Had to move my dog to another room because he was being a nudge. So, we totally missed that entry there. Let's see where the close is here. Closed inside of this fair value gap. So I'm going to note that fair value gap. Okay. So I just referred to this fair value gap. Um, I'm not thinking this is a high resistance liquidity run for sell side because we came down and immediately bounced out of this fair value gap. Um, gun to my head. I don't know. I could see two possible things. I could see remaining in this area here, or I could see higher. In order to see lower, I'd want to see us close below this fair value gap, and then use this midpoint to not go any higher than this and just wilt lower. In terms of buy side, I'm gonna move this over a bit. Still really inefficient price delivery. But in terms of buy side, if I wanted to see higher and like to trust higher, I'd want to see us at least pierce the midpoint of this order block here. So it's 22, 129.50 level. We've got an order block right here, so we want to watch that one. And let's see us. So we're through this midpoint now. So I personally think that this was a retracement into this fair value gap to take us higher. Again, this is wicked inefficient price delivery, but I think that's what's happening. Order block right here into here. So propulsion block most likely. And we want to see this candle close above this one here and then start to run higher. So this area right here is very important. I want to get a close above this. And we're still in some pretty inefficient price delivery, so I don't necessarily trust what we're seeing. Broke through this fair value, this order block here. So we're gonna take two off. We did just break this here, shift in market structure, so we will most likely see price retrace lower and then want to move higher. Still very inefficient price delivery, so I don't trust it that much. But it does look like we're going to be moving higher here. So we'll take another one off right there. Okay, so we're just about above 50 ticks. So I usually move it up just to cover commissions once we hit 50. Um, this price delivery isn't the cleanest, so I don't love moving it above 50 because I do think we can get stopped out here. But I'd rather move up into profit. So I'm just going to take this last one off. Um, and I'll leave this here. Not the cleanest delivery, so I'll just move this a little bit lower. But let's zoom out and see what we would be seeking. So I think we would be seeking this here, this 22,162. And this price delivery is really, really ugly. So I could see us coming down a little bit, but I would at this point like to see us rush through. So we have another propulsion block here where this order block traded into this order block. So at this point, I would like to see it just start to rush higher. But again, very inefficient price delivery, so we're just gonna leave it here and see what we get. So this candle here should come down just a little bit and want to scream higher. And if not that one, then this one. Otherwise, we'll probably get stopped out. So there we go. I do think we fixed that loss that we took earlier. Um, yeah, see, we're only up about 100 on this position. So we cleared the losses from this morning. But it is what it is. Seeking this level here, which is the high of the week. We can just drop heavily right here, considering this is really weak price delivery, and we're right near that high. So there's a lot of interest there, but we'll leave this position on and see where we're going. So we want to watch the midpoint of this order block right here. Okay, so we did just pierce that order block, so get rid of that. And from here, we should want to scream higher. Um, want to see how we treat this here. It's 162 level, because if we get to that, we should want to blow higher. It may be a single candle or two after once we hit it. But getting there should help us blow a bit higher, and then from there we'll just evaluate our position. And that's a big if with this price delivery that we're seeing today. Very inefficient price delivery. This is ugly. Not loving this. I don't know. I normally probably wouldn't even trade this. Like it's tradable, I guess, but it's not like super clean. And even in winning positions, it's pretty annoying because it takes forever to do anything. And if you're right, the elements of precision aren't there, so you can get smoked and then price will go in your direction. So I just kind of hate when price delivery is like this, but whatever. We're in a position, so we're gonna respect that. So watching this here, YM is really teetering on flat and negative. The other two indices are up a little bit higher than they were. We've already pierced the midpoint of this. Um, yeah, it's just really ugly. Okay. So we may see lower for longer. We got to watch the midpoint of this one here. If we don't pierce the midpoint of this here, then we may just rush lower. So let's see. Yeah, we ain't pierced that, so I'm not even gonna put that on there. Ate the stop there. And let's see, we had that shift in market structure here. So high, low, higher, high. We shifted right here. So it makes sense that we came back in here. Um, area of interest at the moment is the midpoint of this here. So if we can get above the midpoint of this here, we probably are going to continue higher. I would need to see, for myself personally, to enter in this crappy price action, I'd need to see a discount PD array. So I'd want to break this, see something lower that tells me we're going to be moving higher. Um, but it's kind of what we're looking at right now. So let's see, open 150, close 150.50. So we need to get through 150.25 um, in order for this to remain higher for longer. So it looks like we're piercing it right now. So now that we broke that, we should start to scream higher. That's fine if we do without me. I'm not going to take an entry because I don't really feel like taking another one in this crappy price action unless it gives me what I'm looking for. So I'd need to see a PD array. So maybe an order block lower. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. And I'm gonna grade this wick. I want to watch the midpoint of this because if we get through the midpoint of this wick, then we'll probably move higher. Um, but this price delivery is terrible. So see the open 156.25. Interesting. So high this 156.25. So the high of this is the low of this wick. So we're probably gonna just be sideways for a bit right here. I don't really see much framing the market in either direction. Ooh, okay, so we want to watch this. Watch this right here. See if we respect this. 146. Okay, so we might get a TGIF going lower for longer right now. Want to see how this candle closes because we closed below here. Um, so what we want to see is speed lower. I'd maybe give it 2 or 3 candles going up. But then we'd want to see speed lower to trust that we're gonna go lower for longer. Otherwise, we are just gonna do this sideways stuff for a little bit. And looking at this on the 1 minute, this is nasty. Like this is not something you want to trade. This is not something most people want to trade. If I was trading on the 1 minute, I wouldn't be trading. The only good thing that we see on the 1 minute is that this closed just below here. So we could be going lower for longer, but when you drop down to the 15 second, it's really rough in here. Um, Using this and this in sync, the best that I could see is a high resistance liquidity run for sell side. So going lower for longer, but we would see a lot of this back and forth stuff here. Um, and if we were to go lower for longer, I'd seek this right here. So I'm just gonna leave this right here. I'm not taking an entry because I would have needed to take an entry up here. But if we're going lower, this right here is what we're seeking. If yeah, this is nasty. Telling you guys, if I was not live streaming, I would not be at my desk right now. This is not very good price action. I'm going to walk away for a couple of seconds, check on my pup, but I'll be right back. If we're going to go lower for longer, again, we're looking at this. If we're going to be moving higher for longer, watch the midpoint of this right here. If we cross through that, we may see higher. But it's tough with this price delivery. Can't really tell much. All right. So watch this order block here. If we get a down close candle into this that doesn't close below the midpoint of this here, we should be able to see higher. Close 132, 32. This is gnarly. Okay, so that closed above. We want to see how this one closes. Hmm. Okay, so we closed below this. Close below this order block here. see. 75 open. 139. What's up, buddy? God damn, this is nasty, dude. I'm just gonna take this off because if I leave that on, I'm just gonna be trying to adjust that constantly because price is just back and forth. Hey, bud, come here. All right, so we broke through the midpoint there. Should want to see higher. It's a terrible price action, so we might just see sideways, but we broke through that, so I would think we'd want to see higher. Limbo, it is a nasty day. I didn't look at London, but I would imagine London was much cleaner than this. Let's actually take a look at London. I don't really care what's happening right now. Looks like we're going higher for longer. I'm not sharing in this, so I don't really care. Let's look at London. Yeah, I mean, London was it wasn't the cleanest, but it was definitely cleaner than what we're seeing right now. I think Asia wasn't that bad either. No, last night Asia was fine. Asia's kind of sloppy too. Whatever. All right, let's get back over to today. Hey, bud, come here. So I'd like to see this one close lower or just close like where it is now and then take off. I don't really want to see it go below this here. If it closes like where it is, that's fine. I wouldn't want to see it pierce this though. I'd want to see it just start to run off right now. Not financial advice, but that's what I'd be looking for. It's not clean price delivery, so we might not get that, but that's what I would have wanted to see. We already disregarded that, so what's up, dude? I honestly might I think I'm gonna close this at 10:30 today. I really want to sit around in this. So I want to see this one close around where it is, and the next candle um just start to rush higher. It looks like we may be coming out of this inefficiency here. So we came down a little bit. I'd like to see it start to rush higher. Buddy, buddy. That is wild. Hmm. Interesting. Didn't notice this till just now, but YM is further in the negative than it was before. All right. All right. That should be we should be good here. I want to see at least one down close candle inside of this. And then from here I'd like to see it move up. If this doesn't just start to shoot up right here, this is probably going to remain inefficient like all morning. Yeah, this shit's going to be nasty all day. This is nasty. So we've got a propulsion block here on the 1 minute. Got this bullish order block trading into this bullish order block. But you come over to the 15 second. This could be, let's see, right here. This could be a bearish order block. So even on different time frames right now, they're kind of conflicted. So not super trustworthy. Mm, Reluctantly respecting this at the moment. So yeah, I don't know. If we do see lower for longer, again, seeking this, but with this price delivery, it's really hard to see if price is actually going to choose a direction. The only thing I do have um that would make me think we could go lower is YM. So YM is outpacing the other two indices to the downside. Because the other two indices are really just hanging out back and forth here. So we'll see. Not taking that entry, but gun to my head, that's what I would think at this point. HJ, don't be throwing that in there. I saw that. That's bad juju right there. Can't find the gifs. I was gonna put a gif in there, but I can't find them. I don't know how to do it on here. Okay. I want to see how this one closes. Gun to my head. It's a high resistance liquidity run for sell side, but this doesn't say shit to me. Oh shit, we crossed 1030. I'm gonna close this at I think 1036. Does look like a little bit of efficiency is coming into the marketplace. If we can close below this order block here, um, we should see speed and magnitude straight down through this. So we'd want to watch to see this candle here slam lower. If not, we're probably going to get a lot more of this sideways PA here. Let me grade that. Okay. Sheesh. This is nasty. Oh shit, it's almost 10:36, so I'm gonna close the stream in 45 seconds. Yeah, so we should get a I'd like to see this current candle that's going up turn around and slam lower. Um, if not, this will remain sideways. And in any case, I'd be glad to not be a part of that. So I'm gonna close this down in about 20 seconds. And y'all that are watching this, you know who I'm talking to. Don't trade this BS. All right, cool. 10:36. Calling it a day in a week. I'll talk to y'all later. Hope you guys learned something. Um, that's all. Be safe.